Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk a little bit about body awareness and the awareness of Qi in our body. This is a very important skill to develop because it basically sets the structural framework for our Qigong and Taijiquan practice. I'm going to explain a little bit and then I will also show you a few exercises that you can practice at home so that you can develop that skill. If you're curious to learn more about Qigong and Taijiquan, I would love to invite you to my online academy. There's an extensive Qigong program, also a Taiji program there. We're learning different sets. And the guiding thread throughout the entire program will be Yijin Jing Qigong. I also offer a bunch of separate individual online courses, so if you're curious to learn more, just visit the website at waterdragonarts.com. I have a question for you. Why is it important that we develop a good sense of body awareness and self-awareness and ultimately Qi awareness in our body? Well, first of all, you have to think about it this way. If you're actually not able to sense or feel your Qi, even though you've been practicing for a long time, possibly, then it's very likely that you're not applying the principles correctly. So you're not paying attention to those details. It's likely that you haven't really released a lot of the chronic tension in the body. Okay, so you haven't done enough stretching exercises, you haven't focused enough on opening up the tissues and restructuring and unbinding the tissues in the body. Or you're trying to think about it way too hard. Okay, if we are doing Qi awareness exercises, if we practice Qigong, we most of the time just want to observe. At least we want to make sure that our mind is absorbed in the body. And then we're not going to be too occupied with our thoughts all the time. Obviously, it's okay to try to understand the concept of Qi intellectually as well, but we cannot really force that skill. We cannot really force that understanding. We have to experience it in order to understand it intellectually as well. That doesn't necessarily mean that we will be able to express it in words, but it means that for ourselves, we know what it is, we know how it feels because we have actually experienced it in our own body. So why not thinking about it all the time? Because then your mind will be occupied and not just observing the body. And also because if you're thinking or forcing something, especially when you're trying to overthink and trying to sense something forcibly, you're literally just creating lots of tension in your mind. Mental tension will ultimately manifest as physical tension. Okay, those mental tension will also be manifesting in the body. A good example for that is if you're angry, right? If your emotions, your mind is kind of like going crazy and all this tension that you're building up in the body, the muscles are being tense, your fists are clenched, right? So that emotional and mental body has a direct link to the physical body. Of course, everything is connected, right? So it's also very important to develop a calm state of mind, not just the physical exercises and opening and relaxing and releasing, but also working on the state of the mind. And this more often than not includes meditation exercises. May it be sitting down or in a Zhan standing pole meditation, posture, all these kind of things. They're playing their own role in developing a calm state of mind. So we always have to look at the things from both directions, okay? We have to make sure that the mind is calm and peaceful, that the body is relaxed, that we allow ourselves to just observe, take the time, forget all the stress, don't concern ourselves with, all the things that are going on in our lives or in other people's lives. So if you decide to practice today, or any other day really, just allow yourself to relax and calm down and take the time for yourself. Forget all the other things that are happening in your life or maybe other people's lives, and just sit down or stand, whatever you're gonna do, and calm down. Just breathe. Start by breathing deeply, allowing your mind to become quiet, calm, and peaceful. And then you set the correct foundation for your practice. So we've already done lots of different videos on the standing posture now. You already know what the Qua is, how to sit into the Qua and how to move from the Qua. In today's exercise, I want to utilize what we have learned in the past and basically add it into a couple of different exercises. First, we will begin by standing, and we will again absorb the mind in the body and turn inward. And then towards the end of this lesson, we are also going to do an exercise that is a little bit more dynamic. We are forming a Taiji ball and moving from side to side. But all this time, we want to make sure that we apply the Qigong principles. So we want to make sure that the crown of the head is gently suspended from above, that we concentrate a bit on the pelvis and releasing it down. So we have the two opposing forces, right? Crown of the head pulling up and the pelvis relaxing, releasing down. We want to be as relaxed as possible, relax all the large muscles down, let them hang off the bones pretty much. And all the other things that you have learned about the Qigong principles. Okay, I'm not going to go into much detail about all the different principles, the weight distribution and so on, because we have had lots of lessons about that already. Plus, we will go over it in the future as well, because we're going to dive deeper and deeper into it. And we're going to be a lot more picky on the alignment at a later stage. But for now, I just want to keep it simple and show you those exercises. Okay, so we will basically just come into our shoulder wide stance for now and begin by applying all the Qigong principles. So we just bring the crown of the head up gently, and then we focus on the pelvis and release it down. Okay, so we're going to sink a little bit, bend the knees a little bit, make sure that we have a slight stretch in the spine. So the whole spine is open, we're not collapsed in it. And we're distributing the weight evenly on the feet. And for now, just let the arms hang alongside the body and simply close your eyes and listen inward. Okay, as I said, we just want to take a few deep breaths here. It's okay to manipulate the breath, to deepen it manually. In and out. Just feel how the chest cavity is expanding as you inhale. Make sure the whole mind is absorbed in the entire body. You're basically withdrawing your senses. Okay, so your ears are listening inward now and not to what's going on outside. You can observe the sensations on the inhale, how it feels when the muscles expand slightly. Relax the shoulders down, relax the chest. Relax the butt cheeks a little bit, just to make sure that the pelvis can release down a little bit more. And relax all the legs. You want to make sure that the weight of the body is basically received from the legs and traveling down into the feet. You don't have to use imagination or anything. Just make sure you keep that alignment with the crown suspended and the pelvis relaxed down, and then sink as good as you can. Empty the chest, relax the entire body. See if you can breathe into your lower abdomen. Soften the breath a little bit now, so you don't have to breathe in really deeply. It's okay to keep the mind on the lower abdomen for a moment. Just check in to make sure that your weight is evenly distributed so that you're not standing on your heels or too far on your toes. Just make sure you distribute it evenly towards the front, maybe Yongquan point. You want to stand comfortably. And then let the breath become completely natural. Just allow it to come in naturally and leave the body again naturally. Not trying to manipulate it, extend it, lengthen it, deepen it. Just let it come in and come out. We want to come into our Wuji stance and make sure that we try to find a very neutral state. Okay, and that means we want to even out the left side of the body to the right side of the body, do some small adjustments so that we can stand more neutral, that the weight is more evenly distributed, that we don't feel any tension on one side more than on the other. And practice Wu Wei. Okay, so now Wu Wei, what does that mean? It means that we are not going to get involved with anything. Just as we let the breath come in naturally, we let all other things happen completely naturally as well. And our job is to just observe and be attentive. If your body feels tight, you might want to think of practicing some more of the stretching exercises before you commence this practice. This will help you make your practice a little bit more effective. Because the more tension you have released, the easier it will be to sense your qi. The next thing we do is we're going to bring the arms slightly forward into this position. Here the fingers are pointing towards our center line. Okay, so they are not pointing down, but towards our center line. We want to keep the shoulder blades completely relaxed. They become heavy and sink down. We want to keep them open, make sure that all the joints in the arms and also in the fingers are still open. So even if you have to have your palm stretched open a little bit, okay, not like with super soft hands as you always see them in Qigong, that's totally okay. Feel free to stretch them gently. Not so much that you feel tension, but enough that your joints open and the tissues open a little bit as well. Concentrate on relaxing here again. And make sure that you don't change your breath. Just observe it. Just pay attention. There's no intention here, there's only attention. Maybe you're feeling the expansion of your body on the inhale. Maybe you notice that when you inhale, your lower abdomen expands a little bit and it feels like the entire body expands with it. Okay, like a completely natural flow, as if you were one with the whole universe. You're not trying to manufacture the sensation, it just happens. The inhale expands the entire body. What you can do next is include some of the movement of rising and sinking as you have learned it in the Qua lesson. So I want you to raise from the crown of the head slightly and gently as you inhale, and as you exhale you sit into the Qua, but just a tiny little bit, okay? Maybe move a couple of inches or so up and down, not more. I know you could go more, but we just want to keep the movement at a minimum for now. If you're looking at the video, you might not even notice the rising and the sinking. There might not be enough movement involved to be visible in the video. Concentrate on your own body, just observe as you move up, inhale, move down, exhale. If you feel your mind wandering off, your monkey mind just going crazy, you can come to your breath for a few breath cycles, just so you're able to come back into the body. And then again, just being absorbed in the whole body, not trying to change anything. Now we want to move the hands just a little bit further together so that they're moving more in front of our lower abdomen. And we want to continue doing the same thing. We expand as we rise up slightly, lifting from the crown, and we sink as the pelvis releases down and the hands move a little bit closer towards the belly. You might feel various sensations, maybe on your palms, maybe in front of your lower abdomen. And that's okay. That's a good thing. You might feel your qi, and that's great because that's what we want to do. We want to get a grasp of what qi feels like in our own body. But we don't want to try to manufacture it and imagine it. We just want to become one with nature and see what happens if we just pay attention and just being attentive. Right now, for a qi awareness practice, it is totally okay to focus on the palms once in a while, focus on the space between your belly and the palms. In later stages, we don't want to keep the focus on outer areas. That means between our palms, for example, because we want to actually make sure that we have an effect or manipulate qi inside our body. That's what matters for cultivation purposes. Though there are sensations on the outside as well, they don't really matter to us. But right now, for you to get an idea and a feel for qi, this is really helpful. Okay, if you have never been able to sense it or feel it, this will give you a rough idea of what it will be like. Okay, now we're going to move the palms so that they're facing each other, right in front of our lower abdomen. Okay, so just about 2.5 inches below the belly button. And we're going to continue doing the same thing. Okay, so we're expanding slightly as we rise. That means the palms are moving away from each other. And we're moving the hands a little bit further together, a little bit closer together as we sink. Here as well, we're lifting gently from the crown as we rise, and we're sitting into the kwa, which means we just release the pelvis down. Just observe. Don't have any expectations as to what it's supposed to feel like. Don't wish for any particular sensation. All this will just distract you. Nothing matters but the truth, which means what you're actually feeling within your body. Maybe you're able to sense something between your palms. Maybe you feel a little bit of resistance or tingling, whatever it might be. See if you can maintain this sensation. You're basically having a Taiji ball between your palms here, and you're expanding it and you're compressing it. And although in the very beginning, right now, we're just focusing on the sensation that we have between our palms and maybe in front of our lower abdomen, it doesn't really help us long term. That's not what we're after. Okay? But it will help us to develop that qi awareness and to get an idea of what it feels like. And we will eventually transfer this towards the inside of the body. Obviously, we don't want to cultivate qi outside the body, but we want to make sure that we're getting an effect on the inside. So we're going to manipulate qi, for example, in the Dan Tian, expand and compress, or move it along different pathways. So the movements of the arms and hands will be there to guide the qi or manipulate the qi inside. And we do this for very different purposes. It really depends on the exercise. What I want you to do next is maintain this Taiji ball between your hands and move to the left and to the right. So we're going to close the quad on the left side, which will bring the entire body to the left side as well. As we do that, we're bringing the palms into the vertical Taiji ball. The right palm on top, left palm on the bottom, but both palms still facing towards one another. So from this position, I want to move through the center, and then I want to move to the right hand side. Now, in order to do this, you want to move from the quad and not just from the hips. If you turn from the hips, you're going to twist your knee and you're going to put weird pressure on the tendons in the knee. And at the same time, your pelvis cannot relax. And if you cannot relax, parts of the body will be tense, in this case the legs. And again, it will make it harder to sense your qi because you're tense. Okay? So you want to move from the quad that you can continue releasing the pelvis down so that the mass of the body can travel down through the legs into the feet. All right? And you want to make sure that you apply those principles. Okay? If you don't move from the quad, you will lose the principles because your pelvis is like set on top of your legs, basically, just like a big weight that's not really received by the legs. All right? So we're coming back into our Taiji ball on the left hand side. And then we're always going to move through the center, trying to maintain this sensation. Now I've been talking quite a bit. Maybe you've lost it. You can take a little bit of time to just stand here in the center and get it back. And then you continue with your exercise. You want to move with your breath. Okay, so you're here, you inhale, move to this side. Keep the shoulders relaxed, elbows relaxed. You exhale, move back through the center. Inhale, move back to the left. This Taiji ball that I'm doing, it's like a medium-sized ball. You can do it bigger too. You can do it up here. All right, and then move like this through the center. Have the Taiji ball be a little bit bigger, or you can have it a little bit smaller. But for the sake of practicing this, the medium-sized is just right. It might take you a little bit of time to move in such a fashion while staying completely relaxed and making sure that the principles are applied. It's certainly harder once you include more movement. Okay, there's so many more sensations in the body, engaged muscles, which will distract us a little bit. But with practice, you will also be able to move in a very relaxed way and keep that sensation alive. And after a while, you're just coming back into the center. Move the hands towards your lower abdomen. Then continue rising, sinking, rising, and sinking. Inhaling exhaling. Feel that natural expansion. You're not trying to move the arms in a forced way. You're just trying to expand with the whole body as if it just was all one. The breath, the body, the movement. And you move your hands to your lower abdomen. And then you just stand like this for a few minutes. Pay attention, don't get involved with your thoughts. Just allow the body to regulate itself. Then you can go on with your day. But before you jump straight back into work, I want you to sit down maybe for a few minutes on a chair with a straight back and just allow that experience to sink in. You can reflect on it a little bit, the feelings and the sensations. And yeah, you will allow your body to process those experiences as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video and those exercises. Hopefully they will be of benefit to your own personal practice. Of course, I would be happy if you like this video and maybe subscribe to the channel, then I know you want to see more and I will make some more content for you. If you're interested and curious about learning more about Qigong and Taijiquan, I want to invite you to the online academy. There I will be able to guide you through the different processes of development through the internal arts and help you to accomplish your personal goals. Thanks for watching and talk to you very soon.